Oh, hey, a package from my very good friend, Charl. Oh, God, he's always trying to get me to watch these things. What do I want to watch?
And that's why other networks are just big city green with envy.
This is still on?
Let's talk about the...
Patrick, I found this on the table. Want to watch it?
What is with everyone in that movie? No, I don't want to watch it. Okay, time to get to work. Oh, come on. No. No, come on, anything else? No. Brought to you by CuriosityStream. Sign up now and get a free subscription to Nebula. Welcome to the Quarantine Fun Hour. I'm your host, Patrick Willems, and if you didn't watch last week's episode because you don't care about Little Women and only want to see me talk about male-oriented blockbusters, then you're probably not watching this one either. You were lost, because this video is gonna be fucking great.
This definitely is gonna be a good one, alright, buddy? Here we go again, Rach.
First things first, we have to address the elephant in the room. As you're probably aware, some good news, John Krasinski's weekly showcase of how many celebrity friends he has was sold to Viacom and will become a show on CBS All Access. Over the past month or so, some have been skeptical of my feud with Emily Blunt's husband. But Patrick, he's just making people happy during a tough time. Why do you keep yelling at the celebrity who will never know who you are? Well, last week, the fifth best Jack Ryan showed his true colors. While many of us depend on YouTube, deeply flawed platform that it is, for our careers, John Krasinski used it as a place to publicly pitch a show and then peace out with his millions of dollars. Hey HBO Max, you want to compete with this? Well, feel free to buy this show. Please, I will sell it for basically nothing. My Twitter bio literally says, trying really hard to sell out. We've even got 5 different titles to choose from, and we come with an in-house band. Jake needs to eat.
Pat, maybe we should talk about this week's movie instead of whatever you're doing.
Yeah, Okay, good idea. So last week we released an episode about Greta Gerwig's 2019 adaptation of Little Women. I personally think this is the best episode of our talk show so far, and it's about a very recent popular Oscar-winning movie. And yet the video is a flop. Apparently our 87% male audience isn't interested in videos with the words little or women in the title. So I thought to myself, what are 2 things they are interested in? Well, they're interested in themselves and in their mothers. So we put those 2 things together, and what did we get? Mamma Mia.
Oh, here we go again. Hit it.
Now, I know my viewers are not the target audience for Mamma Mia. I mean, neither am I. So who is the target audience? Well, someone like our guest tonight. Here to help explain what exactly Mamma Mia is my mama. My mom, how are you doing?
I'm very well, Patrick. How are you?
It's been a long week. Anyway, today we're talking about Mamma Mia.
Okay.
You're familiar with the Mamma Mia films, correct?
I am.
What are they?
What are they? Well, they're all based around the music of ABBA. So there's very little storyline. It's just a lot of singing and dancing and fun. And I suppose they're romantic comedies. Maybe they would fall into that genre.
So if you had to summarize the story in like a sentence or 2.
Oh, it's set on a Greek island.
Okay, didn't think that's where you'd start.
Well, it is. It's so beautiful, and it all takes place.
I said 1 or 2 sentences.
It's difficult. Maybe impossible.
Well, thanks very much for being here. My mom, everybody. Okay, so that's what you want, right? Appearances by my parents. Are you happy now?
How much wine has he had?
I don't know. Stop talking about me. We're living during a very weird time, so yeah, maybe I'm a little more emotionally fragile than usual. To take my mind off of everything, I've been trying to watch as many movies as possible, specifically movies that I haven't seen before. So I watched every Tony Scott movie and every Brian De Palma movie. I watched a bunch of Clint Eastwood 70s and 80s westerns, currently working my way through the Friday the 13th series, and for some reason, about a month ago, I decided to watch the Mamma Mia movies. 2 nights and a hell of a lot of wine later, I was a changed man. When I watched the first movie, I followed drinking game rules given to me by friend of the show, Eleanor Phillips. The rules are to drink whenever Meryl Streep treats ABBA like Chekhov, anytime someone says dad or father, for all sexual innuendos, and whenever Pierce Brosnan attempts to sing. Following these rules, I got drunk extremely quickly. Seriously, they say the word dad a lot. And thank God, because I don't know if I would have enjoyed this movie if I was sober. Mamma Mia, the movie, written by Katherine Johnson and directed by Phyllida Lloyd, is like watching your parents on a karaoke vacation. There's barely a story, the singing abilities vary wildly in quality, but everyone is having a great time, so if you're inebriated, you kinda get swept up in it. It helps to be drunk watching Mamma Mia because everyone in the cast also seems to be drunk. They're constantly either shouting or laughing hysterically or falling over. It even seems like the writer was drunk when she wrote it, since every scene seems to introduce a conflict that it then forgets about a few minutes later.
And you'll never leave me, right?
The point of the story is that this girl, Sophie, wants to find out which of these 3 guys is her dad. And in the end, she just goes, fuck it, they can all be my dad. But then I watched the second one, and a question arose in my mind. Is Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again the best sequel ever made? Now, I can sense you all rushing to your keyboards to say, no, you idiot, it's Dark Knight, Empire Strikes Back, Godfather 2, so let me cut you off right there. I am not talking about what is the best film that is also a sequel. I'm talking about what sequel has the greatest increase in quality over the original film. And we're talking specifically second movies and franchises, so no Fast Five. Because I believe the second Mamma Mia is an astounding improvement over the first in virtually every way. Seeing the change from one to the next shook me to my core. But we wanted to know if New Yorkers agree, so we sent our man on the street, Charl, to find out. This is Let's Get Coconuts. Fun fact, Charl is the biggest Mamma Mia fan I know. He saw the sequel 4 times in theaters. Now, to get to the bottom of this, I've created a set of criteria to evaluate each movie and figure out just how much better Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again really is. To be clear though, I will not be assigning numerical grades because this is art, not a math test, and numerical grades are a terrible reductive way to talk about this stuff. I'll be evaluating Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again in 8 categories to decide whether it's a huge improvement, a slight improvement, the same, or if it got worse. Jake, give us some music to kick this off. Up first, there's the story. The original movie has the thinnest possible semblance of a narrative. Sophie is going to get married and has never known who her dad was, so she invites the 3 guys her mom hooked up with the year she was conceived to find out which one is her dad. Then they all hang out for a while, she decides not to get married, she never finds out who her real dad is, but her mom decides to marry Pierce Brosnan. This is not a movie where the story is a huge priority. And then you get to the sequel, where writer-director Al Parker had this truly crazy idea. What if you took all the elements from the original, but told a real story with them? Like one that's actually about something, and has real narrative momentum. What? See, the thing about Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again is that it used the exact same structure as The Godfather Part 2. And look, if you're gonna rip off a sequel, you might as well rip off maybe the best sequel ever made. Both Godfather 2 and Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again are split into two timelines, like Little Women. One set in the present about the main character trying to take over the family business, and one set in the past about their parent when they were younger setting up that business. Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again is about Sophie trying to carry on her mom's legacy after she's died, while we also see her mom's story from 30 years earlier and how much their lives parallel each other. So we went from pretty much no story to a story that's actually pretty engaging. This time, there are actually character arcs. And yeah, Meryl Streep is dead in this one, and I mean no disrespect when I say the story is a huge improvement. I'm about to say something you never thought you'd hear me say. It may make you question everything you've ever thought about me. The original Mamma Mia, which was shot on film, looks worse than Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, which was shot digitally. But Patrick, you cry, doesn't film inherently look better? Isn't it always the superior choice? In most cases, I would say yes. But the first Mamma Mia, which was shot by Kenneth Branagh's usual DP, Haris Zambarlucos, fell into this period in the mid to late 2000s when color grading got really out of control. It's one thing to apply the ultra-saturated teal and orange look to a Michael Bay movie, which already has a hyper-real exaggerated aesthetic, but what is it doing in Mamma Mia? The whole thing is saturated to garish levels. The highlights occasionally have this Janusz Kaminski-style glow that comes and goes with random shots. Sometimes scenes are just fully orange like a Steven Soderbergh thriller. But in a truly bold move, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, shot by Wes Anderson's usual DP, Robert Yeoman, is actually pleasant to look at. The movie is colorful, but not in an out-of-control way. It's like a nice watercolor instead of a melted box of Crayolas. Here, Mamma Mia looks like a beautiful world you actually want to live in, instead of a weird fever dream you want to escape from. So, huge improvement, which brings us to the filmmaking. The thing about Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again is that it's kind of shockingly well made. Look at the opening shot, which starts as a helicopter shot, but then pulls out of a postcard Sophie is holding. They have all these seamless transitions across locations and timelines that's like shit out of a Robert Zemeckis movie. In the first movie, the musical numbers are kind of a mess. It's like they just set up a bunch of cameras, forgot to choreograph it, and then did whatever they wanted. Multiple times, it slows down footage that wasn't actually shot in slow motion, so you get that weird, jerky strobing look. But in Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, the musical numbers are actually shot like classical Hollywood musical numbers. There's real visual storytelling going on. The camera moves to capture the feeling of the music and becomes a part of the choreography. The editing has an actual rhythm, and Al Parker has the sense to primarily use long, fluid wide shots instead of just overusing close-ups like the first movie. Look at the climactic christening scene, as we see Donna in the past look down into a bowl of water, and then as the timelines merge and we return to the present, we see the reflection of Meryl Streep. Like, look at this goddamn shot. This is good, impressive directing. No contest here, huge improvement. The performances. This is maybe a little unfair. On the one hand, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again has pretty much the whole original cast, plus an entire new cast for the flashback timeline. But on the other hand, they lose Meryl Streep, the original movie's all-star. She only appears in a cameo. So I'll allow it. I said this before, but in the first movie, everyone seems drunk. Look at Meryl at the very end of the film.
Do you want another one? Give it to him. Let's go.
That right there is an inebriated 3-time Oscar-winning actress. And you know what? Good for her. I attribute it to the original movie's origin as a stage production that all the performances feel pitched to the very back row. But in Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, which was designed from the start just to be a movie, everyone is toned down and feels like something resembling a human being. The secret weapon, though, is Lily James as a young Donna, who shows up and becomes a full-on movie star right before our eyes. She can dance and sing better than Meryl, she somehow makes the song Mamma Mia genuinely emotional, and then in the third act, Cher shows up. And then you find out that Andy Garcia's character is named Fernando, and then Cher sings Fernando. That's a cinema. Someone please make a gif of me saying that's a cinema. So I'm going to say this is a slight improvement. Everyone is doing better work and the new cast members are great, but they wouldn't have this cast if not for the first movie. So let's talk about the humor. These movies aren't just musicals, they're also comedies. Jesus, can you imagine if they tried to make heavy dramas where everyone is constantly singing ABBA songs? You know what? If you had like Leos Carax or Claire Denis try it, I'd watch it. The first movie, due again to its origins as a stage musical, is very broad. Like, neither movie is subtle, but the original goes big. The performances are big, and the jokes are very, very obvious. Big pratfalls, big sexual innuendos. Most of the times I laughed were out of a sort of baffled disbelief, in that kind of, what is going on kind of way.
Now baby, this should tickle your taste buds.
But Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again is actually a funny movie. There are running jokes and funny side characters.
Time has been most cruel to you, sir.
Christine Baranski somehow manages to sell this insane line.
Be still my beating vagina.
I wouldn't say it becomes a laugh-minute gutbuster of a movie, but there are more good jokes and genuine laughs than the first. Slightly better. This is another category that isn't really fair since the sequel's emotional impact is all built off of the original movie, but you know what else isn't fair? John Krasinski spending a month on a YouTube show where he can't even be bothered to buy a decent microphone and then getting a special Webby award for it. They just fucking invented a category for him. Hey, you know what I love? When TV and movie stars just decide to try out new media as if it's a hot new juice cleanse, and then everyone acts like they invented it.
Whoa, Pat, reel it in, all right?
Right. I can get through this.
Listen, man, do you need like another tasty ABBA riff or something? Because we can supply.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of Waterloo?
Yeah. Maybe Waterloo.
Well, then here's a little bit of Waterloo for you, okay, buddy? Hit it.
Here I go again. I didn't find the original Mamma Mia especially emotional, since again, there isn't much of a story. There are no real conflicts to overcome, just a bunch of silly misunderstandings. Donna is worried her daughter won't approve of her sleeping around when she was younger, but we know from the first scene that her daughter doesn't care. Honestly, I felt more emotional when that one woman throws off the pile of sticks and sings out triumphantly. But in Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, there are actual problems and conflicts to overcome. In the past, Donna experiences real heartbreak, and the whole movie builds to the scene where Sophie's storyline mirrors her mom's, and then Meryl appears, and even though we know she's not really there, we see them together, and we know that Sophie made her mom proud and that they really understand each other, and you know what? Let's just call this a huge improvement and move on. The Pierce Brosnan factor. Pierce Brosnan is a pretty good actor. Pierce Brosnan is also a pretty bad singer. And yet, not only was he cast in Mamma Mia, a musical, but he was cast in the male role that requires the most singing. At 4 different parts in the movie, Brosnan just fucking belts it out and assaults the ears of anyone listening. Look, he's having fun and I'm happy for him, but it's pretty rough. Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, unlike the first, did not originate as a stage musical. It's a direct sequel to the movie, which means they were inheriting the same cast and this time could shape the film around their talents. Or lack thereof. So this time, while Brosnan still plays a key role in the story, his singing is reduced to an absolute minimum. He has only one solo song, a quiet, abbreviated version of SOS, which he sang in the first movie. So we go from this,
it used to be so nice, it used to be so good,
to this.
The love you gave me, nothing else can save me.
And after that, anytime he sings, it's part of an ensemble that completely drowns him out. Huge improvement. Okay, this is the one that really matters. The whole reason these movies exist is so people can sing ABBA songs. So how are the songs themselves? Well, first we need to talk a bit about how songs and musicals work. Most songs work in a handful of different ways. They tend to happen at emotional peaks, when regular words are no longer good enough to express what a character is feeling. Sometimes they'll express a character's inner monologue. There are exposition or narration songs, conflict songs, I am songs, I want songs, love ballads, charm songs, stuff like that. I'll talk more about this if the world ever gets back to normal and I can make that Greatest Showman video. Now that is a weird movie. Anyway, the Mamma Mia are jukebox musicals, so they have the whole catalog of ABBA songs that already existed and need to work them into the story so that it feels like they actually work in the context of what the characters are feeling. My theory is that pretty much the whole concept came from the one line, Mamma Mia, here I go again. It sounds like someone is surprised and about to do something again. So let's write a story around that. But what's weird about the original Mamma Mia is how the songs rarely seem to emerge from emotional peaks. When Donna is sad, her friends sing Chiquitita to cheer her up. And then she's still sad, so they all sing Dancing Queen. The movie will make up these little conflicts that are gone a few minutes later to justify songs. So Donna is complaining about money troubles and what bad shape the hotel is in. Will this become an important part of the story? No. Will it justify her singing Money Money? Sure. I did the math, and 46% of the running time of Mamma Mia is musical numbers. That's a lot. Like, there's a whole stretch in the middle at Sophie's bachelorette party where they sing 3 songs and none of them actually have anything to do with the story. And then suddenly, Mamma Mia Here We Go Again comes along and functions like a proper musical. Young Donna gets an introduction song. Sophie and Sky have a duet to express the distance growing between them. Waterloo is a charm song as Harry tries to woo Donna. And the 2 best songs are the ones reused from the original movie. They function as reprises, carrying with them our memories of the original film, but with the added weight of everything that has happened since. Mamma Mia, the titular song, begins as a heartbroken ballad and transforms into a triumphant song about Donna getting her groove back, Stella style. And then there's Dancing Queen, obviously the best ABBA song. And this time around, they save it for the emotional climax of the movie, with the miraculous reunion of all the characters as all the storylines converge. And because Donna sang it in the first movie, and here they refer to her earlier on as the Dancing Queen,
Dancing Queen,
it ties the song to her. So this number feels like a tribute to her. It's emotional, it has people dancing on boats. Colin Firth does this dance, he and Stellan Skarsgård do the Titanic pose. Look, I'm not being hyperbolic when I say the Dancing Queen scene in Mamma Mia Here We Go Again could very well be the most important scene in 21st century American cinema. Both movies end with a musical performance over the end credits. The first movie has the characters on a stage in some kind of empty void, while Mamma Mia Here We Go Again has a proper curtain call, with all the characters from both timelines arriving one by one to join the song. It's pure euphoric musical nonsense. The dudes are grabbing beers from the bar. It's like the whole movie rolled into one song. Am I taking Mamma Mia more seriously than it deserves? I don't know, maybe. It's a weird time right now. Anyway, huge improvement.
I mean, you really can't go wrong with ABBA. Here we go again.
You really can't. Okay, listen, I need to take a break to drink some more wine. So I'm gonna pass things over to Matt Torpy for a new installment of Matt Wines, where his exploration of Rugrats finally takes on the dreaded dill pickles.
The babies were already starting to be animated more cute. This happened to SpongeBob as well, okay? Literally rounding the edges off things, literally making everything more palatable and less threatening in the language of animation, which is like spiky is evil and rounded is mellow and nice. And you include Dill Pickles. Get it? Dill Pickles. His name's Dill because it wasn't a joke before, it was just like a funny name, but now they're literally going for pickles puns. So that sucks. In the logic of the show, they would know that Dill was, and Dill is a baby technically, but he is pre-verbal language. So he's not able to speak. He's incapable of speaking to Tommy, and he's a baby to them, to the babies. Doesn't make any sense. Also, in the movie, they're like in the woods. They're in danger. There's like weird circus monkeys after them. The whole point was they didn't need to go somewhere far-fetched or actually dangerous a lot of the time in order to have a fantastical experience. That was part of the charm.
I gotta say, in this episode, I suddenly relate way more to Matt than I usually do. So now, to total up our non-numerical grades, Mamma Mia! Here We Go Again is way better in 5 categories and slightly better in 3. So as I add all these up, factor in the inherent ways a sequel is able to build on the groundwork laid by its predecessor, subtract 0 points for the plot hole about Sophie's grandmother being alive when the first movie said she was dead because who the fuck cares, and I'm ready to answer the question. Is Mamma Mia! Here We Go Again the most improved sequel of all time? No. The Road Warrior is.
Right, the Road Warrior. That makes sense.
Now let's get down to business. This message is for John Krasinski. No one else. If your name is not John Krasinski, get out of here now. Just close the tab and leave.
I've had enough with the petty Krasinski feud, okay? We're supposed to be talking about Mamma Mia, a movie that is pure, lighthearted fun for the whole family, okay?
Come on, dude, chill out.
Pat, let's get a bit of perspective here, okay? Just take a week off and relax.
Why not watch some quality Disney XD programming?
All of you stop ganging up on me. This is my show.
Can we just do the dance we've been practicing?
Fine. Do your dance. Sorry, I just can't let this go. I've got to get it out there. John Krasinski, if you're watching, here's what I think is the most outrageous part of your show selling to Viacom. It's the fact that you're not even going to host it anymore. You said it yourself in an episode that this idea you had for an uplifting good news show is not unique. It has been done before. The only hook of your show is that Jim from The Office is hosting it and can rope in all his famous friends. So if you're not there, why should anyone care? What's the point? And what really drives me up the wall is how The Hollywood Reporter is so obsessed with the fact that your show is self-financed. Wow, good for you, man. You hired a freelance editor on Upwork. I did the math, you know. It looks like you spent about 0.25% of your salary for 1 episode of Jack Ryan on each episode of Some Good News. And yet, you just still could not be bothered to buy a decent microphone. Hey, CBS, I self-fund my show too. And you know what? I spent $15 on foam sound panels for the walls. Please buy my show. Please, I promise to keep hosting it forever. I can't let Krasinski win. This is all I have. Look, as I've made it very clear in this video, sometimes YouTube can be frustrating. Sometimes the algorithm just does not work in my favor, and this is exactly why a bunch of my creator friends and I teamed up to make a new platform where we don't have to worry about these things. It's called Nebula. So other than me, there's a ton of the top educational, analytical video essay type channels like Legal Eagle, Lindsay Ellis, Polyphonic, 12 Tone, Just Right, and so many more. Nebula is a place where we can create and experiment and make stuff that isn't always super commercial. All of our regular videos, old and new, are there with no ads, but we're also making original programming only available on Nebula. As you know, my videos tend to have little narrative elements and mini movies in them, and well, once the world gets back to normal and we can go places again, I will be starting production on a really ambitious short film that will premiere exclusively on Nebula. And in the meantime, I have an episode of the anthology series Working Titles that you can only watch there, with other episodes by everyone from Cinema Wins to Thomas Frank. Now here's the cool part. CuriosityStream, the great documentary streaming service that's been sponsoring this channel for years, they love what we're doing with Nebula. They decided to partner up with us and create a special deal. If you sign up for CuriosityStream at the link in the description, you'll get a Nebula subscription for free. And that subscription lasts for as long as you are a CuriosityStream member. If this sounds cool to you, and let's be real, it's pretty cool, just click the link in the description. Or if you prefer, go to the top of your browser and type curiositystream.com/Patrick H. Willems. It supports this channel, and you get 2 great streaming services for the price of 1. So listen, I'm gonna go chill out and watch some Nebula because this past month has been a lot. Turns out weekly videos are exhausting. I still haven't had time to start building this. So I'm gonna go take a week off, get my head together, watch some cool stuff, try to stop thinking about Krasinski, and I'll be back here soon. So stay tuned.
Oh, here we go again. Hit it, Rach. Oh. Hold on.
Now, before we start, I have heard you interview Hank, so there'll be none of that impudent belligerence with your mum.
How's it going?
Ganwa. August Tufe.
Why are you speaking in Irish?
It's going very well.
No, we have no Irish speakers watching that. No one understands you.
No, I just threw it out.
Great. So you told us absolutely nothing about the stories at all.
Well, they're really...
You know, look, we're running out of time. We've got to move on. This episode's running long. I think we've got to wrap it up here. My mom, everybody, thank you so much for joining us.
Belligerent impudence.
The Mamma Mia films, which I believe you are familiar with.
I am. And I was a big fan of ABBA, I have to tell you, when they first came out.
Wow.
I actually saw them win the Eurovision Song Contest with Waterloo.
On the television?
On the television.
From Ireland?
On the telly, yes. I was home from boarding school and it was on. And
History.
Yeah, history.
Yeah, like Waterloo itself.
I like wine. Oh no, I'm all out of juice.
No, Mom, go away.
Patrick!
Pat, we weren't talking about you. Whatever, shut up. Just listen to this. Just shut up. Just shut up and listen to this. Yeah. All right.